It's time for a Saturday safari at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Hey everyone, it's Herb from World of Walt, and welcome to another live broadcast from the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. It is a very nice Saturday morning, 66 degrees on the way up to 77. I have a lightning lane for the Kilimanjaro safari, so we are going to head back to the Asia section of the park, and maybe we'll get a chance to see the new baby giraffe. Linda and Tanya, good morning to you. Thank you for joining. Good to see you here. Belkis, good morning. So I'm not sure if a live video started just maybe 3 minutes ago. I was going to try to use a new technology for doing streaming on both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. But as best I could tell, after talking to myself for about 4 minutes, nothing was happening. Iona, Gerald, hello to you. Janine from Flushing, New York, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Tanya, happy Saturday to you as well. So if anybody did happen to see a glimmer of a start of a live broadcast a few minutes ago, let me know. As best I can tell, though, it was a lot of nothing. John and Phil, hello to you. Phil in Birmingham. Erica, hello to you. So, I know I have thin Florida blood, but it's actually a little chilly on the way into the park on the tram with the wind blowing and the temperatures down. Although, honestly, it's 66 degrees, so it's not that cold, but still. Michael, Michelle, Susan, hello to you. Linda from snowy Massachusetts. I hope you are doing okay and staying warm. Anne-Marie, hello to you. Thanks for joining me on this live broadcast. Always fun to listen to all of the soundscapes around us. Music, a lot of fun. Greg, good morning. Mark says 6 days before birthday trip. Mark, early happy birthday to you. I hope you have an amazing trip. Kate says a little bit of snow in Massachusetts. Fortunately, no snow here in Florida. Happy to bring you some Florida sunshine and comparatively warm temperatures. Someone said they only saw one live today. Okay, that's good. At least the technology, completely failed and just partially failed, so that's pretty good. I want to thank you for sharing and thanks for joining on this Saturday stroll. It's good to see you. Pam from the UK, greetings to you across the pond. Thanks for spending some of your Saturday with us here in Walt Disney World. Karen's got 24 days to go. A lot of people are counting down the number of days until their next trip. I want to say, got the Pin of the Month Club. Tell everyone how I did it. Iona, I'm happy to share with everyone here that information. Thank you for prompting what is yet another shameless plug. If you or anyone you know would like to get a little bit of Disney fun delivered to your home every single month, check out pinofthemonthclub.com. Belkis has 14 days to go, and Judy is in rainy South Jersey. Rain is just the liquid sunshine. Rudy only got one notification that I was live. Okay, that's good. Mary, it is a very, very nice day out here. Kathy says, coming down in July to celebrate retirement. Congratulations to you. I hope that this next phase of your life is an amazing one. Quite a crowd here in Africa. Looks like just normal coming and going. I thought for a moment maybe that the Festival of the Lion King had just let the audience out, but I don't think that's the case. Karen, great day to you. I like your hashtag. It's a lot of fun. We got to take a second to watch the drama.
Jumbo, everybody. When I say jumbo, jumbo. You say, yeah, Jumbo Jumbo. Yeah. Jumbo Jumbo. Jumbo Jumbo.
Always fun to take a minute and check out the live entertainment. These guys are great. I think those are the Tammy Tammy drummers, if I remember correctly. Someone correct me if that's not right. They got people clapping. They got soon people dancing. A lot of fun. Ed, hello to you. Okay, so the line for Kilimanjaro Safari stretches way out here. It's not often I see it that far. My guess is that a lot of people want to see the baby giraffe. We'll see if we have an opportunity to see the new addition here to the giraffe family at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Fortunately, I have a lightning lane. Fortunately for Disney, they have some of my money. Harry was here in March, ready to come back. Best cure for the Disney blues are watching a live broadcast or planning another trip. Live broadcast is cheaper. Bill says some great bakery items on the shop to the right. There are a lot of good treats here. I like the candy store, the chocolate store that's nearby here as well. Jody said, too many people. It did feel kind of crowded right here. Fortunately, this lightning lane gives you a little bit of breathing space, so that's nice. Sandra, good morning to you. Nice to see you. Alan, good morning. Welcome to Disney's not Hollywood, Disney's Animal Kingdom. Jody is saying, any baby giraffes? I hope so. I did see a clip on the internet that Disney put out where they were taking some cast members through a safari, and they saw the baby giraffe, and everybody's heart melted. So we'll see. I'm sure the baby giraffe needs some downtime too, but we will possibly see the new baby today. I did hear in that clip that baby giraffes are 6 feet tall when they're born. That's pretty impressive. John said, any time is a good time for a Dole Whip. I agree with you there. It was John who said, my lightning lane purchase is music to the ears of Disney shareholders. This is true. Ron, thank you for asking about the Pin of the Month Club and prompting yet another shameless plug. Because of that, you were winning the award, which is my undying appreciation. You can't really deposit that as legal tender in the bank, but you still get it. If you or anyone you know would like a little bit of Disney fun delivered to your home every single month, check out pinofthemonthclub.com. Jeffrey says, always busy on Saturdays, many spring breaks. Yes, very true. Maxwell, 190 days for Disney Dream. That's great. That's great. I have been looking at some Disney cruises. I hope to go on one this summer. We'll see if I can work everything out. Heather, down at the end of next month, Safari is a must-do every time. I think it's fun to get to see such a variety of animals that you really get to see them because of the way that Disney has planned the attraction. And it's a different experience every time. Sandy, hello to you in Rochester, New York. I hope that it's not so great for the rest of the day. Barbara, good morning to you. Anna said, birthing an animal that big, yikes. I agree with you on that.
Are you ready to drop that stroller out? Are you ready to drop the stroller out? Awesome, I'll take that right here.
Children may be seated next to or on the lap of their parents.
Richie, hello to you. Bruce says a 6-foot giraffe, that's a big baby, for sure. Krista, hello to you. Susan is a big fan of the animals. Lisa said, did a bucket trip on a Wild Africa trek. Ooh, I think I saw where you fell or something. The comment went by too quickly, but if you fell, I hope you're okay. Jody says, coworker went on a Disney Wish and loved it. So I have my eye on a trip for the Disney Magic this summer. Disney Magic, the very first ship on the Disney Cruise Line fleet. Yeah, they have an itinerary that I think I would like in places I have not been before. A price that, well, there's never well, there are discounts. There's not a cheap Disney cruise, but I do think there's a high value Disney cruise. So my personal experience is that the service on the Disney cruise is really the best of all Disney service experiences. Definitely a premium product, one that I try to save up my pennies for. Danny, hello to you. Gerald, the app says 80 minutes for the safari. Wow, that is a long time. I was kind of shocked that quite early Wednesday morning when I made my Lightning Lane purchase, that I was able to get a very early time. And sometimes it's just being quick on the draw when it comes to the app. I think a lot of people on Wednesdays for a Saturday trip are there bright and early at 7 o'clock. I kind of learned the sequence of screens and which one I can go to before 7 and where I need to hold, and which one I can get right at 7. Carol said she went on the Disney Magic. Hope you had a good trip.
Or don't. I won't tell anyone.
I like that cast member. Stay with your party, or don't, and she won't tell. Peggy says, yay, the safari. The Kilimanjaro safari. Todd says, let's take the long way around. Yvonne said, going on a Wonder in May to Alaska, that sounds amazing. Many, many years ago, I did an Alaska trip, not on Disney, but it was incredible. The scenery is just incredible. I assume it's still the same. Ellen, 21 days to go. Highly recommend the countdown calendar. Ellen, thank you for that, and thank you for your purchase of the countdown calendar. You can head over to magicalcountdown.com to purchase your very own paper-based countdown calendar, where you can count down the number of days up to 365 before your next trip, plus fun games and tips along the way. Only available in the United States. And see that poor lady from the UK who made a purchase, I had to refund her. My apologies. I just don't want to end up in UK jail, not having all my UK paperwork in place. Luis, hello to you. Echo says, are you able to film soaring? So I think not. I did try once, and I was told you can't do that. I think they're concerned about your dropping a camera or something. But I have seen videos before. Maybe if you had a camera mounted on your head, or maybe you pull the camera out after you're up in the air, you might be able to get away with it, but generally I think you are not supposed to. William, hello to you. Linda says, how many remember the big red boat which did the Disney cruise before Disney had its own ships? I remember hearing about it. I actually watched a documentary on YouTube about the history of the Disney cruise line. The big red boat is where it all started, where Disney sort of dipped its toe in the water, so to speak, with a ship that was run by another company, but Disney provided some of the entertainment but didn't control the full experience. My understanding is that after Disney pulled out of that agreement with the big red boat, that company went under, or those cruises went under. Henry, 228 days to go. Susan Mastro is a hard place to sit, very bumpy, and her sister felt sick. I'm sorry to hear that. You never kind of know which one you're going to get, and these safari vehicles do bump around. John, one safari vehicle for 300 please. Keith, good morning to you. Nice to see you. Judy, good morning. Another beautiful morning for a Disney Fix. Thanks for spending some of it with me. I appreciate that. 66 degrees here on the way up to 77. Michelle's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Michelle. Wow, someone said a giraffe put its head in the vehicle and gave him a sniff. My goodness, that sounds like a very up-close encounter. Ellen says she remembers the big red boat and was on it many years ago. Glad you had a chance to experience that. Greg, wife and I are planning a cruise or a Lonnie for a milestone anniversary. That is a great thing to do. Congratulations. I've not been to a Lonnie. It's one thing I would like to do. Emily's got 41 days to go. Ronnie's saying he hopes to get the back. Peggy said it was her and her brother. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Tammy asked any new t-shirt designs. So yes, I actually have one in the hopper ready to go for next Saturday. So tune in next Saturday for the release of a brand new World of Walt t-shirt design inspired by Disney themes.
Other one in row one.
I was only working like 4 days a week for the last month.
Okay. Front row seat. Kind of like this. Keith Duck defeated giraffe and rhino at the San Diego Wild Animal Park. That's amazing. All right, once we get started, I'll be quiet so that you and everyone else can hear what's going on.
Here, baby, juicy twin day and twin baby. Let's go. So, hello everybody, my name is Kimmy. I'm going to be your safari guide here today for the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. I will ask that we please keep all hands, arms, feet, and legs inside of the truck at all times throughout our journey. Also, if we could please make sure that we are staying fully and completely seated at all times, even if I happen to be stopped. This does go for every member of the party as well, including any little ones we may have. If you have a little one that is sitting there in your lap, that is perfectly fine. It will help them to see a bit better. But please make sure that they are staying in one lap and in one lap only. Please don't let them stand in your lap, play musical laps, and please don't raise them into the air. We're going to be going over some really rough roads, and I don't want anybody to get hurt while we're out here on our journey. If you take a look above your head, you're going to see an animal spotting guide. This is going to help to give us an idea of the animals we may get to see while we're out here on our journey. But keep in mind that these animals are free roaming, and chances are we may not get to see them all, but we usually have some pretty good luck. If you're wanting to take pictures or videos of these animals as we make our way through, I do encourage you to go ahead and take the time to put your phone or your camera to that action, sport, or video setting. I'm not going to be able to stop for all the animals that we see while we're out here, so I want you to be able to take home really great memories. We're going to start our journey off, though, in the Little Aturi Forest. The animals that live here in the Little Aturi Forest have some amazing natural camouflage. This can sometimes make them pretty difficult to see, so we do need to keep our eyes peeled as we make our way through this area. Oh, look over there on the right. Through the bamboo, we can see an okapi. Now, okapis, they have these stripes on their legs. I'm not sure if you can really see it from here. Can we see the stripes? Do they remind you of anything? A zebra. So they're related to the zebra? No. They are not related to the zebra. They are actually the only known relative of the giraffe. The stripes on their legs mimic the sun's rays coming through the trees, so it's going to help them to blend into their environment a lot easier, which is probably why the Western world didn't discover okapis until 1901. In the back over there on the left, there is a black rhino hanging out. It's a little bit difficult to see, but black rhinos are one of the smaller breed of rhinos. They only weigh up to about 3,000 pounds, which in rhino terms is actually quite small. They have a prehensile upper lip that comes down to a point. Does anybody know what the word prehensile means? It means hand or finger-like. It helps them to grab food off of bushes and small trees.
Something new.
Ooh, there's a better look at a black rhino right over here. And then right over there on your right-hand side, back in the trees, there's some rusty-colored antelope. Those are bongos. They are known as the ghosts of the forest because they're rarely ever seen. And then the tannish gray antelope over there are greater kudu. And I can tell that they are female due to their lack of horns. Also coming up over here on the left, you're going to see a couple of black and white birds. These are saddle-billed storks. Saddle-billed storks get their name for the yellow saddle-shaped shield that sits on their bill. These birds do mate for life, and you can tell the difference between a male and a female by the color of their eyes. Males have brown eyes, females have yellow eyes, but we've now left the forest and are making our way to the Safi River. What kind of animals might we find in a river? Crocodiles and hippos, yeah, they've both been spotted over in this area lately. So we're going to have to see if we can find some for ourselves. We also found these large gray birds over here. These are pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get their name for a pink coloration that develops on their back, but it is only there during mating season. They are also what we call colonial nesters. That's just a really fancy way to say you're going to see really large groups of them together in one place, and they've actually documented up to 500 at one time. But right over here we did find ourselves this float or group of hippos. Hippos do spend most of their day completely submerged underwater. Why would hippos stay under the water for so long? It's going to help them to stay cool. It gets pretty hot. They can hold their breath under that water for up to 7 minutes at one time. They actually close their nostrils and fold back their ears, and this assists them with staying underneath the water for so long. They don't really swim though. They more walk or they run along the bottom of the river, and some of their movements underneath the water kind of mimic how a horse moves on land, so that's how they got the name hippopotamus. It is Latin for river horse. They do come out of the water, it's just not typically that they come out until nighttime in order to graze. Over here we also found a Nile crocodile. Looks like there's a couple of them actually. Nile crocodiles are the largest reptiles found in Africa. They're going to average at 16 to 20 feet in length from nose to tail. They have special scales on their back called osteoderms. These scales are going to act like solar panels to help bring heat into their body because, unlike all reptiles, they don't make their own body heat. But if they get too much heat in through the scales, it can't go back out through them because that is a one-way trip in. So they're going to sit there with their mouth open for that excess heat to be released. Well, we're going to go ahead and leave the forest and now also the river behind to start making our way into one of my favorite areas on the preserve, and that is the savanna. The savanna is going to be a much more wide open space we've seen so far, with a few trees kind of scattered throughout the area, but it's nowhere near as dense as a forest. Before we get over into the savanna, and speaking of trees, we're going to talk about the funny looking one here on the right. This is a baobab tree. It is also called an upside down tree. Its branches look very similar to roots, and it goes leafless like this for about 9 to 10 months out of the year and only has leaves during the rainy season, conserving its water into the sponge-like texture of the trunk of the tree. Animals are able to get into it by peeling back that bark or having another animal pierce through it, and this is going to allow them to have water during those dry periods, and that gives the baobab tree one more nickname. It's also called the tree of life. So in the distance over here, I do see a few Maasai giraffe kind of scattered throughout. I want to try to see if I can get us a little bit closer if I can. But we can tell they are Maasai giraffe because the spots on their coat have some pretty rough and jagged edges to them. Giraffe are going to stand at about 14 to 20 feet tall when they are fully grown. Any idea how many bones are in a giraffe's neck though? They have the same number of bones in their neck that you have in yours, and that number is 7. Theirs are just a little bit bigger than yours happen to be. The animal with the large horns on that right-hand side is an Ankole cattle, or a Watusi cattle, as they are also called, after the first tribes of people who domesticated them. On the left in their den, we found ourselves some African painted dogs. Now, African painted dogs look like they've been finger painted, but it looks more like their fingerprint and helps them to tell each other apart. They are also some of the more successful predators in Africa. They work together as a team to run their prey down till it literally collapses from exhaustion. Coming up over here on the left, you're going to see some brown antelope in the distance. Those are sable antelope. They are our emblem here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. The zebra we have here are Hartman's mountain zebra, and I can tell that because the stripes on their hind end are a little bit thicker than the rest of their body. And then it looks like we also have another look at a few more Ancole cattle. Those horns are going to get to be about 8 to 9 feet from tip to tip, with an internal honeycomb-like structure that their blood flows through. But it looks like we might be able to get a little bit closer to a few of these giraffes here. Now, giraffe have an 18-inch long prehensile tongue. For reference, on me personally, 18 inches is about the tip of my middle finger to the crease of my elbow. Their tongue is also dark in color, and that is thought to help protect the giraffe's tongue from the sun because they spend 18 to 20 hours of their day eating. Then we can see this baby giraffe. Whenever it was born, it probably stood at about 6 foot tall. That's pretty average for a newborn. The extensions on the top of a giraffe's skull are called ossicones. They are an extension of their skull. But whenever the baby is born, they are made out of cartilage, and then as they get older, it does turn into bone. Now, because giraffes spend so much of their day eating, it doesn't leave them a whole lot of time to do too much else. So they're only going to get about 30 minutes of sleep every day. Coming up over here on that right-hand side, you're going to see some small tan and white antelope in the distance. They kind of look like a s'more on legs from here. Those are springbok. Springbok get their name for their ability to leap or spring 6 feet straight up into the air. And then the gray antelope hanging out with them are wildebeest. Wildebeest have some of the larger groups of migratory animals. Up to 1.5 million of them are going to migrate anywhere from 500 to 1,000 miles every single year. We are now starting to see some broken and fallen down trees over here. Now this tells me that we're going to start to make our way over into elephant country. Now this looks like a lot of damage, but it's actually helpful for the savanna that the elephants do this because they are creating space for new plants and trees to grow, but it also just helps to get rid of the trees that are just no longer good for the savanna. But it looks like as we come in here, we found ourselves one elephant. I'm thinking that it might be a bull elephant. I'm not currently seeing another one at the moment. Whenever male elephants hit maturity, they get booted out of the herd and they will go off on their own. Sometimes they make small bachelor groups with one or two other males right after they get kicked out, but those don't last for very long because male elephants would rather stay solitary until mating season. But all elephants go wherever they please. It is mostly wherever they can find food. This became a really big issue for a lot of farmers because these elephants were going in and they were eating some crops, they were destroying other crops, and then the farmers retaliated in some pretty negative ways against them. So we did some research to try to help out both parties, and in that research discovered elephants are terrified of something really small. And at first thought, you probably think that they are afraid of mice because cartoons and comics led us to believe that. And it was a great starting point for research, but we did quickly learn that it wasn't true. They are actually afraid of bees. They hear the buzzing of a bee and they go in the opposite direction. So now, through a project called Elephants and Bees, these farmers are putting up what we call bee fences around their crops in order to protect them. And it's been a win-win situation. But how the bee fence works is that the beehive sits inside of a box. And then this box is hung by chains around the farmer's crops, and there's several of them around. Whenever the elephant gets really close, it starts to shake this box, and then the bees buzz to protect their hive. The bees hear the buzzing, or the elephants hear the bees buzzing, and then they go off somewhere else. If another elephant is headed in that direction, they're going to stop and tell them, hey, there are bees over here, you may want to go somewhere else to find food. So the elephants are now staying safe. They're helping each other as well with communicating with the location of the bees. The farmers are happy because not only are their crops staying safe, but they gained an additional crop to harvest. And now they get to harvest all of that honey from those bees. As an added bonus for this entire thing, the bees numbers are starting to rise again, which is great because we really need to keep pollinating pollinators throughout the world. But we're going to make our way slowly through this red clay pit. And red clay actually plays a part in an elephant's diet, very similarly to how you may take like a multivitamin in the morning. That's what the red clay does for an elephant. They use their tusks to break it up and loosen it so they can eat it to get the additional minerals into their diet. You can see they've been kind of digging at it over here on that right-hand side. But elephants are what we call a matriarchal society. The word matriarchal or matriarch, if we do not know, means mother, or them being led by an older, more dominant, and knowledgeable female elephant. Which only makes sense because they do kick all of those males out whenever they hit maturity. And elephants hit maturity at anywhere from 12 to 15 years of age. Make sure we're staying fully seated in the back, please. Fully seated, guys. Thank you so much. But because of when they hit maturity, that only gives elephants the second longest childhood to that of any animal, only just behind that of us humans. Because at the end of the day, we are animals too. But we don't typically hit maturity until anywhere from 18 to 21 years of age on average. I don't speak for all humans. Now we can tell that the elephants over here are African elephants, not only because we're in Africa, but by the size and the shape of their ears. Their ears are quite large. They are also shaped very similarly to the continent of Africa, which is purely by coincidence, but with their ears they have a good number of blood vessels in them. And so a few flaps of those ears on a really warm day, like today should be, is going to help to bring their body temperature down several degrees. They also have very sensitive skin, so throughout the day they're either going to hide or hang out in like really shady places, or they're going to throw mud and dirt onto their back, and that acts like a natural sunscreen for them. Now with elephants, they use their trunk for a lot of things. They use it to eat, they use it to drink, and it is their nose, so they use it to breathe. But with their trunk, they have two prehensile appendages on the end of it that help them to grab food so they can eat, but also to move and manipulate objects in their area and in their environment. And then with their trunk, when they use it to drink water, they can hold up to 5 gallons of water in their trunk at one time. And then they shoot it into their mouth to drink. They can't drink it through their nose. But right over here we have a flamboyance of greater flamingos. Greater flamingos are one of the larger breed of flamingos, but they're also one of the lightest shades of pink. They get their color from their diet. They eat food that's high in a protein called beta-carotene. That's going to take their feathers from a light gray color they are hatched with to the light pink we can see on their feathers now. It takes about 2 years though to go from fully gray to fully pink. But they're not migratory birds. They're going to find one pond or one watering hole, much like this, and that's where they tend to stay, so long as it maintains their favorite food and good water quality. So it's very important for flamingos we do what we can to make sure things stay out the waterways and water systems that do not belong there through processes like recycling, so that they are able to stay in their preferred aquatic homes. But it looks like we found our way here into the mud wallows. Mud wallows are where rhinos have been known to hang out. Not quite seeing any yet. Doesn't mean that we won't see them. It just means they're not hanging out in the mud wallows right now. They like the mud because it does some things for their skin. It's going to help to cool them off, protect their skin from the sun, or rid their skin of parasites like fleas and ticks. Looks like they're hanging out down this road over here, though, on that right-hand side. Those are white rhinos. Are white rhinos white? Not even a little bit. They are actually light gray in color. They get their name for the mispronunciation of the Afrikaans word vite. Vite means wide. They have a really wide mouth and a square jaw that helps them to graze along the savanna. They're also going to weigh anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 pounds when they are fully grown, which is significantly larger than the black rhino we saw earlier. But they may be hiding from the cheetah under the tree. It's a little bit hard to see. There's also another one moving around over here. Now, cheetahs are one of the fastest land animals. They are going to run at speeds up to 60 miles per hour and hit that speed in as little as 3 seconds. There's a couple more moving around over here. Their claws don't really retract like other cats. So they stay out just a little bit and act like a natural cleat to help get them up to that speed very quickly. They're not going to run it for very long distance though. They're not built to be a long distance runner. They're more of a sprinter, so they're only going to run it for a couple hundred yards at least. Right over here is what we call a Kopi rock formation. Kopi rocks are a stone island that stand out above the savanna and offer a great vantage point for a few animals for a few different reasons. But lions like them the most. Lions are going to use these rocks to bask in the sun while they are resting or sleeping for 16 to 20 hours every single day. That's not them being lazy. They are conserving their energy so they can go out and do their hunting, but lions do their hunting at night. It's the females that go out and do the hunting. That male you see, he stays back with the cubs in the territory in order to protect them. Think of him kind of like a stay-at-home dad. He has been known, if there are no cubs in the pride at the time, the male has been known to go and assist with the hunting. But that's not his job. His job is to establish and protect territory. And they do this through roaring. And a lion's roar has the ability to be heard up to 5 miles away.
Yeah.
Ooh, through the bushes over here, we found some warthogs lying down. I think they are just the cutest little things. They are large burrowers. They have 2 sets of tusks. We can see all their burrows through here. But one set of tusks they use to make their burrow. Then they have a razor sharp set of tusks they use to protect themselves and that burrow whenever they back themselves into it, because they really just don't like to be bothered. But here's another look at a few more of those white rhinos here on that right-hand side. Now, whenever they're hanging out in a group, they are called a crash. Also hanging out over here on both sides of the truck, we found these large gray birds. These are ostriches. Now, I know that they are females because their feathers are gray. Males have black feathers. But ostriches are the largest birds in the world. They have wings, but they can't fly. They will use their wings, though, to help them turn direction left and right when they are running at speeds up to 40 miles per hour. But we're going to make our way over here to the warden's post. The warden has a post here on the reserve so they can keep an eye on everything and everyone. The warden set it just off the savanna over here to allow them to be close enough to do their job while not encroaching on any of the animals' space or making any of those animals feel uncomfortable by their presence, because the warden also takes care of goats, specifically Nigerian dwarf goats. Now, they are fully grown adult goats that are going to look pretty small to you, but this is as big as they get. They've been domesticated by farmers in the area, though, as a dairy goat. Their milk is very sweet, and it is high in protein. Makes it great to turn into different milk products that we typically think of, like cheese and yogurt. But they can also turn that milk into soap, which I think is pretty cool, but I'm also easily impressed, so it's fine. But the farmers have been selling the milk and milk products at the market, and it's actually been doing some really great things to help improve the village's economy. Now, if you're looking for ways that you can help with animal conservation, I encourage you all to start by doing your research. Research your favorite animal. Find out what conservation efforts are already in place to ensure that we have that animal for future generations to come. Something you can do in your own backyard, though, if you're interested, is what I call a refuel station for pollinators, such as hummingbirds, bees, and butterflies, especially because here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be having some migration patterns starting up for hummingbirds and butterflies, and a refuel station can really help them along that journey. Take 2 parts water to 1 part plain white sugar, mix that together in a bowl until the sugar dissolves. Then place that bowl somewhere in your backyard or in a garden if you happen to have one. It's going to help to hydrate and refuel the pollinators so they can continue to pollinate different flowers and different crops. Because without crops, we don't have food, and without food, we as humans may one day cease to exist. So we've got to help the pollinators out today so they can continue to help us out in the future. As we make our way here back into the village of Harambe, though, go ahead and take off around your feet and your seat. Make sure you have all of your personal belongings with you. It is a very long walk back here to Africa. I would hate for something to have fallen out of your pocket or fallen out of your bag, and you have to come all the way back here just to get that item again. If I happen to have any wilderness explorers on board, you guys have been riding on the Simba 1 today. That is SIMBA and the number 1. You're going to take that code over to the wilderness explorers hanging out by the exit of the attraction near the Gorilla Overlook area, and they will give you that safari badge there when you give them that code word. But here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye. That's far too sad and far too final. So instead, we will say Kwaherini. Kwaherini is a Swahili term that means to go well. Guys, I hope you go well. I hope you go wild. I hope you go out there and make a difference. But mostly, I hope you have a wonderful day. Here in the Animal Kingdom, or wherever your journey's been taking you. Friends on that right-hand side, watch your hands are feet lights, doors are sliding open. Everybody, please watch your step as you exit. Thank you so much for joining me and have a great day.
Our safari guide did a great job. I learned several new things today, including the fact that ostriches can run 40 miles an hour. That's amazing. Susan said, fun times. Lisa, hello to you. Judy says, thanks for the amazing adventure. My pleasure. Thank you for joining me on it. Jody says, great safari. Very excited that we actually did have a chance to see the new baby giraffe. Tucker, I believe, is his name. He's growing up fast. Ellen said that was great. Thank you. Susan, thank you as well. We'll keep rolling for a few more minutes till I make my way up to the front. Or however long we get to go for the next 6 minutes. Jody said she was awesome. Ronnie said great job. Yeah, I agree. Our guide really was very knowledgeable. She spoke very understandably. She was kind of entertaining. So that was a good one. Phyllis is a fan of the safari. Thank you, Phyllis, for joining. Tracy said she was a fantastic guide. I agree. Nikki said felt like she was right there. I was very pleased that we happened to get a front row seat on the safari vehicle today. Let's make it a little bit easier to see forward. Tanya says so cool and very informative. I never really thought about putting sugar water out for hummingbirds and such, but that's an interesting idea. Damaris, hello to you. Michelle says babies born in Animal Kingdom are rock stars. They certainly do get social media attention, as they should. I know a lot of people here in Africa today. Maybe just a busy day here in the park. Gina says Tucker is very cute. Mary says loves the green and the shade. Carol says 6 feet tall at birth. Ouch. Yes, I agree with you on that one. Phil, Jennifer, thank you for watching. have no idea what the name of that instrument is, but it is very cool. I don't really remember seeing a performer there playing a string instrument in the past, but I'm glad I stumbled across that today. That was very cool. He's very talented to be able to play that thing. Tamara said, time for pulled pork and mac and cheese at Flame Tree Barbecue. Sounds like a great idea to me. I'm a big fan of Flame Tree, but I'm always torn these days between Flame Tree and Satuli Canteen, both of which are amazing. Peggy says the banjo originated in Africa. Interesting. Amira said a nice musical interlude. And Tammy asked an incredibly insightful and intelligent question on where she can get a little bit of Disney fun delivered every month. Thank you for asking. You win the award of my undying appreciation. With one last plug for today. If you or anyone you know in the United States of America, including military bases and outlying islands, would like to get a little bit of Disney fun delivered to your home every single month, check out pinofthemonthclub.com. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me on this beautiful Saturday morning from Disney's Animal Kingdom. It was fun to take a little stroll through Africa. Had a chance to see several different live performances as well as a baby giraffe. I would say that's a good day. So thank you again for joining me. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes, especially the shares. It's a great way to get the word out. All of that is a big encouragement to me and helps others learn about the podcast, the broadcast as well. So, hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, God bless.